what naked pictures did they have?
Or Def Jam, if I'm not mistaken. It was like definitely a record label.
Remember my threat was, hey, listen, guys, I'm about to go get my working papers so I can get on the books. And they were like, oh, yeah, really? Why don't you take a little break? We'll call you if we need you. I had never worked in that place. As soon as they heard me say I'm getting my working papers, they were like, nah.
Damn.
And he had to respect me as a basically grown man, as an adult for the most part. I was still a kid, but, he was trying to give me my space to let me figure it out. But he tried to tell me, like, this is the way the world works.
Unofficial Therapy. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to our viewers. Show some love. Click the subscribe button. And today we're here to talk about everything as it relates to heart, healing, and mental health. I am joined by one of my friends. We go way, way back. Mecca, thank you for joining.
Oh, golf clap. We can golf clap. Let's golf clap it up.
So,
thank you for having me, first of all. Much
you.
appreciated.
Thank you for being here. So we go way back to the source.
Many moons ago.
Right?
What year did you start?
God knows, I don't remember. It's all a blur now.
What year did you leave?
I don't remember. It's all a blur now.
Okay, all right.
But I do remember the like impactful time that being there helped me in so many ways.
Name me a cover that came out when you were there.
I don't remember.
Who was on the cover? Just one.
I don't remember so much. Like, it's all a blur.
Waheeda.
I know. It's all a blur, guys.
How strong is this weed? And where are you getting it from so I can start selling it? I don't even want any. I just want to sell it to people.
It just makes you forget everything.
Apparently. Such an impactful time that I don't remember
I don't remember anything. No, I do remember one time where some guys came from like Rikers Island and they were talking about their story, and Londell had them come and speak to all of us and just tell us like how important criminal justice reform was. And that was so nice because,
Yeah, I ignored that.
Why?
Because
Why?
I'm not committing any crimes, bro.
Yeah. Of course.
That all those messages, I always respected it and I always related. But I'm not gonna hold you. I pretty much when I used to hear things like that, somebody coming through talking about criminal justice reform is a different thing.
It's a huge thing. Criminal justice reform, huge thing.
So, some of these brothers are in there for unjust reasons, doing unjust numbers.
Yes.
There's no reason to be punished to that extent, to the point where they're institutionalized.
I agree.
They're not allowed to learn a trade. They're not allowed to learn a skill. They killed the law library. Like, those things are heinous. You are literally setting them up to go immediately back. That's foul. But whenever I used to hear hey, don't stay out the streets and don't do drugs and don't commit. I always tune that stuff out. Like, bro, I'm not in the streets.
Yeah, it's not applicable to you.
It's not that I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's kind of that I don't care.
Well, it's so funny because those guys came, I remember them coming and talking about their work on Rikers Island. And I remember their message being so strong that I ended up working on Rikers Island just because of that.
And this is why one perspective doesn't outweigh the need for the message.
Yeah.
Just because the message wasn't for me specifically doesn't mean that it wasn't a good message to
exactly.
have. I try to tell people that all the time. It's all perspective.
It's all perspective. And different people hear different things when you put that message out. But let's talk about your childhood first and foremost.
Okay.
Like, how did you get here? Who are your parents? What was your childhood like?
I have a mother from Queens. My mother's from Queens. My father was from Brooklyn. Or was it the other way around? No, dad was from Queens. Mom was from Brooklyn. I was born in South Jamaica, Queens. I had a relatively good childhood overall.
Queens is a nice place to grow up, I think.
It really depends on where you are. Really depends on where you are. Okay. Everybody has every place is a nice place to grow up when you don't know anything else. You think what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unless you're like in Beirut or
where it's super obvious what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Every place, most of us who grew up disenfranchised or poor, we didn't know it.
No, we did not.
till we got around other people and was like, oh, wait, that's what it's supposed to go.
And you didn't even know that your neighborhood was bad. You're like, oh,
you
love my block.
You get to have, are those Cheerios? That's the stuff from the commercial. I didn't know you could get the stuff from the commercial. I didn't. Oh, man, you don't? They don't have quarter waters in this neighborhood. And you're just trying to, right. So, for me to sit here and tell you my neighborhood was terrible. There were houses, we had grass.
Yeah.
But we had crack, we had fist fights, we had people, people would get shot. I did a lot of time in St. Albans, which was where my grandmother lived. I cut my teeth on the south side of Queens, 95th and Waltham. I went to Hillcrest High School.
That's so crazy. I went to Edison.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So I spent a lot of time on 165, Coliseum block.
Mm-hmm. The Coliseum was like, that's where you window shopped.
Yeah, we did.
Right? Until you got your job and then you were able to buy everything you wanted or most things.
By the time that happened, all the good stuff was gone.
Listen,
By the time
I started working at 16. What age did you start working?
My first job was 13. But it was unofficial. I was working in a diner. I was getting jerked. I was a busboy.
It wasn't like a real pay stub.
No, hell no. They were paying me in cash. It's $25 a week. They were doing me dirty. And nobody said anything. Like nobody from my family said anything.
Those are like child labor laws being.
I remember my threat was, hey, listen, guys, I'm about to go get my working papers so I can get on the books. And they were like, oh, yeah, really? Why don't you take a little break? We'll call you if we need you. I never worked in that place. As soon as they heard me say I'm getting my working papers, they were like, nah.
Damn.
It's a wrap.
What about other jobs as a youth?
Summer youth employment.
Oh, you did those. Okay, that was nice. What were some cool, places you worked at with that? Nothing?
None of those places were cool.
I mean,
St. Albans Park. St. Albans Park was a good one around my grandmother's way.
Some of the kids I worked with, they worked at Rock Nation.
Yeah, no, I didn't get any of them.
Some of the kids that I that lived on my block. That was really cute.
How?
Yeah, I was like, damn, you guys are good.
How did that happen?
Did
they pay? What naked pictures did they have?
Or Def Jam, if I'm not mistaken. It was like definitely a record label, and it was like 4 kids, and they all did summer youth, and it was all for this record label, and I know Jay-Z was at it. So
no, they
were inspired by that.
I didn't see that on the list, which is wild because I found out that my father and Russell Simmons were actually friends.
That's crazy.
But I never met him.
Crazy.
On purpose.
On purpose.
Because I was an idiot. I was an idiot. My father was friends with Russell Simmons. And he would take my younger brother over to the Fat Farm office. And I was working at the Source. But instead of taking a day off at the Source to go meet Russell
this
effing
influential
Simmons,
person.
At the time, especially at the time, Fat Farm is fresh out of Def Jam. Like, I really could have went over there and gotten, acquainted, familiar with an icon in the music business.
Yeah.
And I told my dad, nah, because, and my thought process was when he meets me, I want him to meet me because he wants to meet me, not because my father's hooking it up. I don't want no nepotism.
Isn't that some ego stuff?
Idiot.
Right?
It was stupid. But I thought I was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought, and this is something that's occurred to me lately, a little revelation I've had. I thought that I needed to earn it because I didn't think I deserved it otherwise. Right? And I had this innate sense of almost lack where I didn't feel worthy of a lot of things. So it made me go extra hard at almost everything.
And make your path longer for no reason.
Absolutely.
Right? You took the long
100%.
road.
100%. And I didn't have, it's not to say that shortcuts are the best thing in the world. However, there's something to be said for not making your journey more difficult.
Absolutely.
And I did that a lot.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel like I was worthy of whatever it is that I wanted.
It's so funny because that was an image you had in your mind. Like there was some sort of like image you held in your mind's eye where you thought, in order for me to get this, I have to be this way. But when they talk about like the power of manifestation, they always say like you have to act in the now, like you already have it, and just act as you already have it. Because you seeing something and then saying, I'll get that when I'm good enough.
Right.
Then it pushes it further away from you.
My father used to try and talk me out of it, and I would not. And he had to respect me as a basically grown man, as an adult for the most part. I was still a kid, but he was trying to give me my space to let me figure it out. But he tried to tell me, like, this is the way the world works. This is the way the world works. I wouldn't introduce you to him if I didn't think you were good enough to be introduced to him. Like, he didn't even offer you anything yet. And who are these people who you're going to think are going to see you and tell you you're not good enough? Where these people live? What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
I didn't have an answer, but in my mind, there was like this imaginary faceless crowd of people pointing at me going, look at him.
You have to earn it.
He got here, and he only got here because his father introduced him to Russell Simmons. Not that me getting in the door was a favor. Me staying in a room is a favor. How about me getting in the door was a blessing, and me staying in a room is to my merit.
Exactly.
Never thought of it like that when I was a kid.
But I'm happy that you're there now, though.
It's still something I have to catch myself. It's almost, when you do it for too long, it becomes a reflex. It becomes stop that. Don't think like that. Like that's not true.
What's your father's story?
He played professional football for a while. He promoted clubs for a while, but sports was really always his thing. And he dealt drugs for a little while. He was one of those guys from around the way who did good, but didn't do as well as he wanted to do. I think. When he passed on December 10th, and I used to shout him out for the day he passed away, but then I started shouting him out on his birthday, which is April 23rd.
Which is
coming
more
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I used to use this caption on my IG, said, all I ever wanted to be in life was him. All he ever wanted me to be was better.
I love that.
Here's hoping we both get our wish. And that's still true. I don't post it anymore because I'm gotten way more private with life.
Yes, with life. Yes.
But
as you get older,
it's still true.
Yeah.
It's still true. I still wanted to. He's still like a hero, the hero, like my first hero.
I agree with that 100%. I feel like your parents, even if in the beginning when you're younger, they're not your hero for whatever reasons, I feel like over time you realize like how much they really did sacrifice to get you where you might be today. And that's not every parent, because like some people don't have the nuclear family setup.
Right.
But for most of us, for the ones that do, I feel like mom and dad, even if you don't recognize it in the moment, you definitely recognize it after they've passed on.
If you are familiar at all with My Expert Opinion, shout out to My Expert Opinion, shout out to Math Hoffa, Gat Taylor, pardon me, my Aries brother, Gat Taylor, shout out to Kim Osorio Spinoza, Aaron on the boards, and all the cast past and present. But shout out to My Expert Opinion. If you watch that show, if you're familiar with the show at all, you've heard me quote my father
more than once,
maybe every other episode. His impact on me is forever. He showed me what to do and what not to do at the same time. He taught me how to critically think, and would walk me through the process constantly, to the point where now I critically think about everything. I try to, but he, his thing to me was, all right, well, what are you going to do? Let's figure it out.
What's one lesson that you say he taught you that still like sits with you now, or still?
I don't have one.
Yeah.
I don't have one. All those quotes are because I remember when he said that.
Yeah.
The last one I used was, the thing that you want is on the other side of the work you're not doing. That was one. Standing in front doesn't make you a leader was another one. He had a bunch of them, but they always just come to me when I'm in a circumstance or a situation that is applicable.
Yeah.
As soon as it applies, it comes to me.
Every time I watch your interviews, on my expert opinion, I see that there's just a lot of wisdom. Like, you're always the one that kind of pulls it all together, and like, you know, so I do see that in real time, that like that wisdom. I'm sure that wisdom isn't just you, you know?
I'm on the shoulders of my father and my grandfather. Absolutely. And my mother's compassion, and my father's words of wisdom, and my grandfather's disposition. My grandfather was very unbothered about a lot.
I love that.
The man was
I want to be like that. I feel like I care too much, you know?
Is it going to kill you?
No, absolutely not.
Then it's not that big of a deal. Another one of my pop's joints. In the end, it'll all be okay. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. That's it. Hard stop. I was sitting there waiting for the rest of it. That was it. In the end, it'll be okay. It's not okay. It's not the end.
What about mom? What was she like?
Quiet, very reserved, very happy, very smiley. When she got angry, it was terrible. Small, like, very small woman. It's like this like fun size human being. But like, she's the reason I treat women the way I do.
Yeah, which I really appreciate.
If I've ever been anything to you as a man, you 100% have to credit my mom for that. My mother's the reason I treat women the way I do.
How did she even get you there, though? Because I feel like there are so many men that are raised by really great women, but I think society just pulls them in a different direction. And
I would love to sit here and tell you it was effortless for her.
Yeah.
But you'd have to ask her what went into it. Like, yeah. I just watched her and how she got down, and for some reason it infused in me this idea that, okay, you got to protect and be nice and be courteous and be
gentle
for the most part.
I would say you're definitely, I wouldn't say nice, I would say courteous, respectful, you know, like all the good things.
Respect, I try.
Because nice is like kind of, you know.
I'm not a nice guy.
Right? It's okay to be blunt.
I try to be a good man.
Exactly.
But I am not a nice guy.
Yeah.
I've never been a nice guy.
Yeah, because you're you know, you have what you have an idea of what you want out of life. So you can't be nice when, you know, nice doesn't really get you far in life. Like,
unfortunately.
Yeah. It's like, but you can be kind.
Kind is different than nice.
But yeah. So
kind is different than nice.
So mom was definitely she played a key role in shaping how you deal with women.
Had to. I have 3 sisters. So it's my mother and 3 sisters, my grandmother. Like, I'm surrounded by women.
Women are older sisters, or
I have older sisters, but and I have younger sisters. I'm kind of a middle child, so I have like middle child syndrome.
You know, they say the middle child is usually the successful one, right?
So far, so good. From your lips to God's ears, so far, so good.
I mean, technically, I'm a middle child, but with my mom and my dad, I'm a first child. But technically, with my dad, I'm a middle child.
Oh, I get it.
He had a child before, which is like, I always like that concept where I'm like, oh, the middle child is I'm both, the middle and the first. I play both.
I just found out about middle child syndrome and didn't realize I had it.
What is the middle? Explain that to me.
You become a loner. You quiet. You don't mind being alone. You very protective over family, but the difficulties are you feel as if almost nothing belongs to you. It's either been done already or it's being done better by the people who came behind you.
Interesting.
Your clothes don't really belong to you because they're hand-me-downs from someplace else, or you got to give it away as soon as you get used to it to somebody else. So what belongs to you, you hold on to with like
Firmly.
both hands. Yeah, to the point where maybe you should let it go and you don't. Things, people, it can breed abandonment issues. You know, if you act like people are older than you, they go away. People who are younger than you, they're doing their own thing. You're literally just in the middle. You're not in either one of these social groups. So you have to find your own way, and it's not always easy. It's there's a lot to it if you check out middle, but it worked out all right. It works cool. I dig being alone.
You were the only boy.
Yeah.
And when we talk about like your family makeup, would you say that you had a good childhood?
Compared to who?
I mean, just compared to you, like what you define as.
I could complain, but I'd be complaining.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think very recently I was made to look back over my childhood in a different way. I've never really given it any thought before now. Shout out to the Hood Healer, if you know who she is.
Oh, I got to look this up. Okay.
I had a nice talk with the Hood Healer, and she walked me through a few things, and she told me a little bit about myself and a handful of things. I'm not going to go totally into it, but it was definitely some things about myself I didn't realize. That's a lie. Things about myself that I didn't acknowledge.
Okay.
Not realize, because I knew it, but I didn't put any smoke on it. I didn't put any sauce on it. And then you find out that those things from then affect you in different ways now. And it was affecting me in ways that never would have imagined. Keeping me from this, holding me back from that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it was all an inside job. And I've been saying that for the longest time, but just because you know where to look doesn't mean you know where to look. Just because you know the sources in one spot, you're such a complex person. Your experiences have been so vast and so complicated and transformative. You get affected by these little things that turn out not to be so little. The devil is in the details. So you hear a detail about yourself and see how that's manifested over the years. Like I told you, I had a lot of he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Just feeling that you
started somewhere.
Unworthy.
That started somewhere. Yeah. But if you don't know to look, if you don't know where to look, you have no idea where to put the sunshine on that, put the balm on that, and heal that area. So
absolutely.
I was rocking with that forever. I just had a conversation about it, and I'm looking at the I almost wanted to get up. Like, who are you talking to? And then it comes to find out, it's like, oh shit, she's right. Like, that is true.
So any significant childhood traumas you want to touch on?
Do I? Well, I'm rocking with it. Not something I'm gonna bring up for the public because it is a vulnerability.
Okay, so it's something that doesn't put you in that state. Anything else? I mean, growing up, I guess in that neighborhood for me, I feel like it was very aggressive. And like my mother, so the story with my family is that me and my sister migrated here without our mother because my dad wanted us to migrate here faster than my mother could come. And so we were separated from my mother, at, around like 8 years old. So that's a huge formative time gap. So from like 5 to 8, 5 to 10, something like that, we were separated from her. And being raised in New York, and she had like molded these young, gentle, sweet angels that she like allowed my dad to take to New York. And then when she ended up coming here and she had to raise us, she was like, wait, they're so different.
They're not those small angels anymore.
Yeah, we were totally different, but it was because of how like tough it was.
Yeah, New York will do that.
Yeah, New York was not, it was a tough place. And so like that for me, just being in that in that environment. And then I think about like, well, what about if I was raised in another environment? Then would I have been the same aggressive, and sometimes I don't want to be that person, but it's like, how could you not be if you want to survive in New York and not be victimized and not be,
right,
taken advantage of on different levels. So that's what I think about when I think about childhood trauma. So it could be that. It doesn't have to necessarily be what happens in the household.
Okay. All right. So 2 things. One, I think it's better to be raised the way you were, because it's the reason why New Yorkers can go everywhere, but not everybody can survive here. There's a reason why they say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And they don't say that about any place else. New Yorkers are survivors. You're raised to survive. So you can go someplace and survive, figure it out, make a plan, get along, thrive.
That's a good point.
Meanwhile, I've seen this city chew people up and spit them out. I've seen people come here from different countries, different states, and a year later, 8 months later, tail tucked between their legs, moving back to wherever it is they came from.
Why do you think that is?
Because you're raised in other places with a certain amount of decorum, with a certain amount of niceness, and that doesn't exist here. Everybody here has an agenda. No, New Yorkers are kind. We're not nice. Other places are nice and not kind.
Ooh.
Total difference. If you have a flat tire, a New Yorker is the person to go, what did you do? You got a flat tire? How the fuck did you leave out of the house with? You didn't check your tire? Man, get out of the way. Move. You're doing it wrong. You're going to strip the screw. Just move. I got it. Like, why don't you call somebody? This up completely. Kind, but not nice. Someplace else, same situation, same person trying to fix their tire. That's terrible for you. I'm so sorry. Well, I really hope that you can pull that together. I have several things I need to, but I hope that works out for you. And then just leave you there. Nice, but not kind.
Nice, but not kind.
We're kind, but not nice. We're just not nice. But you need that in order to get along. You need to look. I hate to say this, but you need to learn to not look for it, but you got to be able to spot the foul. You got to be able to spot the negative, because this world doesn't make a way for weak people at all. And in any case, in any situation, there will be a time when you cannot afford to be nice. You can't afford to be kind. There are people who take advantage of that. Back to the childhood trauma thing. I have... which one can I talk about? I have abandonment issues, right? Makes me super loyal. Makes me hang on to things when I should let them go. People have taken advantage of that over the years, and I've honed it now to the point where my loyalty is cool and it fuels my drive, right? And being a middle child adds to it. But it really pushes, because when I want it, I understand that I have to, once I get it, I have a problem letting it go. But going after it is not my issue. I go after everything. I run it down, I put both hands on it, and I hold it till I decide. No one takes this from me till I say. And then when I decide to let it go, you can have it.
I love that about you, because I feel like I'm the exact opposite. I'm like, take it. I don't want it anymore.
Well, it also
and
comes
I love
from,
that you're like that, because I'm not like that.
It also comes from being homeless. I know that when people I've seen that have been homeless before, they have 2 different reactions. Either one, they tend to hold on to whatever they get really, really tight, or they just give it away. If you ever seen Jay Electronica at a show, he'll give stuff, sunglasses, give it to the crowd, give it to the crowd, takes off his jacket, he's not attached to anything.
And that's because he was previously homeless.
He's used to losing things.
Wow.
And when I got used to losing things, I didn't take it that way. I'm a fighter. So I fought and lost over things that I really wanted to keep.
Okay.
Some of those things weren't mine to hold on to, but because I was attached to them, I fought over them. I've been a fighter my entire life. So relationships, articles of clothing, a sneaker, a desk, whatever it was that I got used to people taking from me on some middle child shit, I fight over it now.
Wow.
Point of view. I fight over it. Nothing's easy. No safe space. Whatever you want to do, we can do. And I fight till we're both done.
Yeah, yeah.
Not healthy.
Not healthy at all. Not healthy at all. And when you talk about being homeless, like what was that a specific period in your childhood?
Yeah, I was homeless, I think in my last year of high school, I want to say. I moved out of my house, my mom's house, and she had her own situation. I was done being in that specific space. I moved out on my own. It didn't go well.
Yeah, in New York.
When you're 16 years old trying to live on your own, it does not always end up the way it was supposed to.
That must have been really, really hard.
It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. I had a job. I was working, but then I lost said job because, the house that I was staying in was abandoned. So, taking a shower was impossible. The water was freezing, especially mostly in the winter. In the winter, cold water. In the summer, I can take cold water, a cold shower.
Yes.
But in the winter, it's cold outside, it's cold inside, and the water's cold. Like, a lot of things started to catch up to me at once. And, I lost the job. So now I'm trying to figure out another job. And it was like a retail job. I was working in the mall. I was working in Green Acres.
Yeah. But just even like a week salary, missing a week's salary could significantly change everything.
Yeah, nobody knew.
When you're young like that, right?
Nobody knew that I was homeless. People didn't know. I knew.
Yeah.
I was hiding it from everybody. I didn't want anybody to know. It was embarrassing. But I needed... I won't say I needed to go through that because it's probably an easier way to get the lesson, but that was my way. So that affected me.
Yes. And maybe that's why you're so determined.
I'm pretty sure. I have a lot of reasons to go after the things that I go after. I have my father's pride. I want to make my mother proud. I want it because I want it. I want it because I deserve it. I deserve it because I've worked for it. I worked for it because I really wanted it. And there are plenty of people who can say that I'm not special, but I am unique. And when I have it, I'm going to know what to do with it.
The one thing I do know is that hard work pays off.
You'd like to think.
I do believe that it does.
You'd like to think.
And you know what? I say that it pays off because even if you don't get the end result that the ego wants, I feel like the skills that you attain from that period, like that maybe that's what you were supposed to get.
That payoff. That term in itself comes from success, right? The thing is, success is relative.
Exactly.
So certain people don't work that hard to become successful.
Because of who they know, because of...
Exactly.
Yeah. Relationships.
Staying successful.
Yes.
Is different.
Correct.
Being respected while being successful, being respected by your peers, completely different, especially in a world where people respect money more than they respect talent, more than they respect drive, more than they respect ethic, morals, principles, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
Somebody can come along with a bunch of money and say, yeah, you did all that, but I got more money than you. And then all of a sudden he or she becomes the person that everybody's looking at, but they don't stay. And there's no respect there. I don't know if that person can sleep at night or look themselves in the mirror. I sleep great. I look myself in the mirror all the time. I've never done anything behind anybody's back I wouldn't do to their face. I've never said anything behind somebody's back that I wouldn't say to their face. I never fronted for anybody. I've never been a yes man. And everything I've gotten, I got because I earned it, right? So that's me.
I mean, my memory of you at the source is just you being at that computer. I don't even remember you looking up. I remember there were times where I would talk to you about things very briefly. You would look up, we would talk, we would chat, and then you would be on that computer. So, like, you were definitely one of the hardest working people.
Did I ever send you away?
Never.
Did I ever tell you, like, get away from me?
Never.
Did I ever
Never.
shortchange the conversation?
Absolutely not.
Did I ever
Absolutely
Did
not.
I ever treat guys better than you?
Nope.
Did I ever treat anybody better than you, or did I treat everybody the same?
Everybody the same.
That's why I can go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And shout out to my mother, shout out to my father, shout out to me being homeless, shout out to my upbringing, shout out to every fist fight I've ever had, shout out to everything I've ever lost, shout out to everything that I gained, shout out to everybody who cut me a break and gave me some slack.
I love that.
And allowed me to get into space, because that's what I try to pay forward, moving forward, because I was you. I was you. I was I interned at the source before anything else. I needed somebody to tell me what they knew so I could go further.
Exactly.
Who am I to keep that? Who am I to keep that?
Exactly. Because you didn't know. There wasn't any like solid direction. Everybody was moving at their own pace. People were doing different things. Londell would allow you to do whatever, you wanted to do. You could kind of, determine what you wanted, as long as the idea was something that he felt was useful.
That's a whole other story.
That's a whole other story.
That's a whole other story.
But it was a good time though, and it took you right here. Now we're going to talk about the podcast that you're on.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going for you? And what has that experience been like? Because it's a lot.
It's different. It's different. I come from a journalism background. I come from being behind a pen, not in front of a camera.
That's right.
Totally different. Totally different.
But it helps you with the way that you present, because your responses are usually a little bit more scholarly than those around you.
I try, but I have 10,000 hours. Make sure, man, I have 10,000 hours worth of interviews. I've asked these questions millions of hundreds, thousands of times. You sat there. If you've been in the source, you've seen me do it. Mm-hmm. Over the phone, in person, on camera, whatever it is, I've done it. So the notoriety is different.
How so?
Because I come from a time where I was known in journalistic circles only. This is true. People knew my byline, but didn't know my face.
Yeah.
So I could pop up somewhere and go, "Hey, I'm Mecca Rashawn. You're MC." Yeah. MC in the music. Hey, what's going on? And then it was a different story. Now,
as soon as you walk in the building,
4 or 5 times on the way here, Mecca, what up? Yo, Mecca. And I keep looking for somebody I know.
Yeah. You don't.
I don't know.
How does that feel?
It's weird.
It's very weird.
It's weird.
But you do know them because they know you. But then.
And that's what I have to remind myself.
Yeah, you do know them because they've like bonded with you to some degree. Like
something I said.
Yes.
Or something I did. Or a way I answered a question or asked a question or held somebody accountable on the show. Yes. Or held myself accountable on the show. Something I did resonated with this person.
I love that.
To the point where they deemed me worthy to hold space in their minds.
Imagine how powerful that is.
I can't.
That's beautiful.
I can't. And it's a responsibility.
Yeah.
It's a responsibility that I don't take lightly. Somebody says my name and shouts me out because I did something that impressed them or I said something that left an impression, good, bad, or indifferent. Whatever that is. Mech, what up? In the middle of the street, walking across, and it's strange because it takes some getting used to. But it's humbling.
It's very humbling, but also what is the most important thing that you just said is that it's a lot of responsibility and you can't take it lightly because there's so many people that look to folks like yourself for like, I guess, wisdom to some degree or, knowledge or like I've worked with folks.
Sorry to let you down. No,
right? I've worked with folks that have like spoken about you and I'm like, oh, him? Yeah. Mecca, yes. And they're like, oh, he's so great. And they can tell me, I called you once. with one of my colleagues.
Oh yeah,
The one that's becoming
I still gotta
right.
pull up with.
But there's so many other ones, that speak so highly of you, and they love your feedback, and they just love the way you think, and you give them a voice. When you share your opinion on things, and it does come with a lot of responsibility.
That's the responsibility. That's the weight. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to sit here and make it sound like, oh, woe is me, because it's not that. Like no. It's very cool.
Yeah,
it's very cool, and I am beyond grateful.
Yes,
I can't express how grateful I am that anybody gives a fuck enough to remember me or remember anything.
You have to say, yep.
I'm mega grateful.
Yeah,
but I am not. I would be lying if I told you I don't sit here and think about the fact that I am responsible for that section. Mm-hmm. These people who give a fuck about me at all, mm-hmm. they're thinkers.
Yeah.
They're motivated. They refuse to be dumb. They're expressive. They're articulate. It's a very specific section of people that with me.
Yeah.
Not everybody.
Yeah, when you get the negative feedback, what is that like for you?
Idiots hate me.
Yo, and
idiots
how do you
hate me?
How do you deal with that though? Because
I remember that they're idiots. Remember they're idiots.
Every time I get like someone saying something crazy to me, I just laugh and I don't respond because it's like it's funny to me, but I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. But it's just like, you really think I'm gonna respond to this? And then they say like
they do.
And so one day I made the mistake of like saying something positive about a girl that was talking about sexual assault mm-hmm. on Twitter, and it got like 100,000 views and feedback, mm-hmm. and people they were just like, you dumb bee, you said this, and I'm just like, I'm looking through all the comments. I'm talking about hundreds of comments, and I'm like, okay. I didn't respond to one because all I did was say one sentence and I got so much negative feedback.
Those people are telling on themselves. You are telling me way more about you than you are about me, which is the only thing you can do. You don't know me.
Yeah.
You've never met me. You have no idea.
Yeah.
What it is. I've heard everything. I've heard everything across the board. But the
anger is kind of like unwarranted.
No, it's misplaced.
Yeah, it's really misplaced.
But you're telling me about you.
Yes.
You're bro.
Projection.
You don't know me. Mm-hmm. This is about you.
This is about you.
So there's one thing you can do. You can laugh at it. I recognize that if you critically thought about the thing that I said, I'm not saying I'm always right. Of course I'm not. Yeah. Of course, you probably will disagree with me. And then if you and I were in the same space, we could go over the thing that we disagree with.
Yeah.
There's no room in that for you to be angry.
Yeah. For
you to like curse me out and like call me all kinds of whatever. Shit that you would never say to my face.
Yeah.
You'd never talk like that if you and I were face to face because
you don't get that in real life.
It would seem it would be completely out of, and I've had people who disagreed with me run up on me to tell me that they disagree with me. Mm-hmm. And if I got time, I go, okay, what'd you disagree with? Mm-hmm. Let's hear it. I'm all right. Go and give it to me. I'm right here for it. And we end up chopping it up because I don't give off that kind of energy. Have you ever seen?
You don't.
I don't give off that kind of energy.
I love that you don't.
There's no place I can't go. There's no place I haven't been, from colleges to corners to crack houses. Like, I've been everywhere.
And still,
I'm the most recruited. Every gang has tried to recruit me. Every fraternity has tried to recruit me. The NAACP has tried to recruit me.
I'll go with the NAACP, please.
I have had Bloods, Crips. I've had every gang try to I'm cool with anyone.
I'm cool with any gang as long as there's no criminal activities.
Listen, and I don't judge. Another reason why I'm cool, I got porn stars I'm cool with. I got people in the church I'm cool with. I don't judge anybody, and everybody
because your life is your life and my life is my life.
And mine won't stop yours from living it the way you're going to do it.
Correct.
Which is another reason why I'm indifferent to a lot of things. Another reason I don't get mad. Some people say like he acts like he's too cool. I've seen that. And by the way, the comments that I managed to see, somebody else, one of my friends will screenshot and show me. I don't go in the comments.
Yeah, you don't go in the comment section, you stay out?
No, I don't go in the comments. Why? Because when we worked at the source, I was in charge of the letters that used to come to the source.
Oh, yes.
Though that's the original comment section. And I used to see the went on first. I decided what letters get ran. I decided which letters got ran in the source. I used to see all the nonsense. I used to see people lying, making shit up completely. Like there's no way this is true. And they're just writing it, trying to spread dirt, spread rumors, spread filth, start trouble, start this, start that. And I got used to seeing that early. The comment section on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever it is you're looking, that's an extended version of the letters. Most of these people are lying. Like, you know, some people are just comment and they move on. It's not even that serious.
It's not even that serious.
So if you're investing in it, there are a handful of people who want that energy from you. They want you to be...
Because they have nothing else. Yeah.
So what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Arguing with you.
Yeah.
Like literally. I had a dude run up on me and tell me in the middle of Times Square, run up and tell me, yo, that Busta Rhymes album sucked.
Well, let's talk about that. Now that you say that.
Sure.
So you've been working on this project for how long now?
Dragon Season, The Awakening, Equinox, and then Part 3, which I'm not going to mention because that's coming out soon, and then Part 4, I'm not going to mention that here. I'm going to let Bus announce the titles to that. But we worked on Dragon Season for the better part of a year, maybe? I came up with the concept immediately after we finished Blockbuster, and it was something I wanted to do. I wanted Bus to rhyme. He's the most competitive MC I've ever met, right? All he wants to know is who's the best. Now, at this stage of his career, with all the money, all the accolades, it's all about the art. It's all about the competition without malice. He just wants to compete with whoever can rhyme. The gimmicks and all that, he's not about that, which is, I think, why he and I are great professionally and we've become cool personally because we share the same philosophy. I'm equally as competitive, and we've already talked about my drive for things. So we have that in common. He's mega competitive. With that said, I wanted to get him on tracks with artists who I feel were influenced by him in some way.
I love that.
And keep the original fire.
Okay.
Like they rhyme as if Busta Rhymes would have been rhyming if he were on that. You know, I say 90s basketball players and today's basketball and how the era. Well, okay, well then let's have the Kobe Bryant play with the Michael Jordan and see how that, okay, well, if he's Mike, if I'm looking at Bus like he's Mike, then let's go find Kobe, let's go find LeBron, let's go find Shea Gill, Chris Alexander, let's go get John Morant, let's go get Allen Iverson, let's go get all those guys who are like
key
from
players.
that cloth, and let's really get to it. So Toby and Wigwe, Killer Mike, Coast Contra, Simba, La Russell, Russ. I'm forgetting so many folks. Shout out to Goldie. Shout out to the entire conglomerate. Like I went out to go get the people who I felt could push him to rhyme the way that we know Busta Rhymes can.
Because energy
can go.
feeds off energy.
Exactly.
Now, that album was great. But it's so interesting how you remember that negative person, because that album was, I was in the studio, I heard it. It was great.
Yeah, you sure were. Platinum Studios. She was right there sitting next to me. We got the pictures and everything. She was having the ball. No, the album's dope, but there's always somebody who's going to come up to you and tell you that, you know, how they feel about it in a negative sense. Now, I take that a couple of ways. Number one, some people have shitty taste. Some people have shitty taste. I could walk you into a 5-star restaurant, but if you've been eating McDonald's all your life, you're going to think this is terrible.
Absolutely. I agree with that 1,000%. I love that.
Some people just have shitty taste.
Yep.
Number two, some people don't like me specifically, or they don't like him specifically for whatever reason. if he felt up their wife or you know, dissed them when they wanted an autograph, or if I said something that offended you on the show, or I talked about MCs with no work ethic and you took it personal because that hit dog is hollering, then you don't like me. And if you don't like me, anything I do is going to suck. So of course you're going to run to me and tell me it sucks.
This is true.
And number 3, everything ain't for everybody.
That's right.
Right? Not everybody can appreciate everything. When I was a kid, I didn't appreciate some of the best music ever made because I was a kid and my tastes were not mature yet. Right? I didn't appreciate Stevie Wonder until I was in my mid to late 20s. That's terrible. I didn't appreciate Prince until my mid to late, damn near 30s. Like some of the music these people made, I didn't appreciate it until, oh shit.
And now it's like, this is what you go to when you want inspiration, right?
You get my point.
Yeah.
So I don't take any of the things personal, but your need to tell me that you don't like it, you're telling me more about you than you are about me. When I don't like something, I don't talk about it.
It doesn't exist.
Let alone go to the page of the thing and leave a comment to boost their algorithm. Like, I don't see the point in that.
It's very true.
You know what it reminds me of? Those in the kitchen, like, oh my God, this milk is bad. Taste it. No, I believe you. I believe you. If you don't like it, that's cool. Okay, now you told me it sucked. What did you hope to get from that? What did you want? How did you want me to feel when you told me that something that I worked on wasn't good to you? As if I needed your validation.
Exactly.
As if I asked you for your validation.
You know what's crazy to me is that this man is going to go down as an icon. No matter how much negative feedback he gets.
It's too late.
Right?
It's too late.
He's going to go down as an icon.
You missed it.
And I think that that's what we forget as human beings. What is our legacy? And if you want to leave a legacy of like the person that's leaving comments under other people's material, then fine, you know? But like the reality is that we should all be thinking about what is our legacy.
Whatever floats your boat or finds your lost remote. I'm not here to judge anybody for anything. But I plan on dying empty. I plan on dying with no asterisk.
What does that mean?
It means I don't want to leave this earth with the coulda, shoulda, woulda next to my name. I don't want to leave out of here with anything that I could have done undone or not done or left. That Denzel has this quote, I forgot where he got it from, but he talked about like, you know, somebody on their deathbed surrounded by the ghost of all the talent, all the ideas that they didn't bring to earth, to reality. And all those ghosts are just swarming this person going, look, we trusted you. We came to you because we believed you could have brought us to existence. And now here we are in the grave with you. Right?
Interesting.
And Jazzy Jeff has this whole philosophy of dying empty. You're never going to put out all the music you make. You're never going to get out all the out. You're never going to be able to put it out that way. Give it away. Sell some, make some, give some away. Not even make some. Sell some, give some away. Sell some, give some. I'm going to stand before my creator when it's all said and done, look him dead in the face and go, I used everything you gave me. Whatever it is you trusted me with, I used it. I did it. My ability to fight, I used it. My ability to speak, I used it. Helping people, I used it. Knocking some people out, I used it. Everything you gave me, this idea for a book, that idea for a movie, the love for this woman, the respect for my parents, the protection of my sisters, the protection of my brothers, I used everything you gave me, and I'm here with nothing left. That's the plan.
I actually think that that's so powerful, and I think that's a good way to live. Do you believe in the power of manifestation, and have you like been?
I am the power of manifestation.
And like how do you explain that?
I don't. I think it's more of a feeling. I think there are certain things you really can't explain. I've asked for things and wanted things that have never happened. And then I've worked towards things that didn't happen, but did happen adjacent. Certain things that I thought was what I wanted. Success doesn't come in the package that you expect it to all the time.
Absolutely.
It may not come in that box.
Absolutely.
But it's still success. I've been so satisfied with I didn't plan on becoming an A&R for an icon. I wanted to work at Hot 97. I wanted to work at The Source. I wrote really good poems. I didn't think that would translate into me writing at a magazine.
Yes. And then music.
No plans for that.
Right?
No plans for that. But we used to kick it around the way. I didn't know it would look like this. And if I rejected everything that didn't come in the box I expected it to, I don't know where I'd be. But God didn't necessarily close doors to me, but he opened one that I wasn't looking at. I just happened to go, oh, okay. Let's see how this goes. And as I've become more open to these things, more doors have opened up.
And I love that.
So now I just got to stay out of my own way.
And that is the power of manifestation. Mecca, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Do we shake hands? Do we hug? How do we do this? I don't high five?
High five.
I don't know how this works.
We will be back. Thank you guys. Unofficial Therapy next time.